Storytelling can take many forms. It may emerge as a poem, a short story, a novel, or even a movie script. No matter the medium, one thing remains unchanged. When the author pours their passion into their work, it always results in an enjoyable experience for the audience. This was the case for last night's debut of Gorfer's Final Gnaw, the 16th movie release from Dead Prairies Productions. This is part 2 of our chat with Devon Oman from Dead Prairies. Stay tuned as he talks about the latest release, his inclusion of Saskatchewan musicians in the movie soundtracks, and his desire to donate all proceeds to local nonprofits. You'll want to hear just how much he has donated to the local SPCA.
So do you have plans for really expanding this so it's one day your full-time work? Do you have movies all over the world? What's your goal with Dead Prairies?
What's my goals? Oh, every year that passes by, it impresses me that these goals that I thought were just dreams and unreachable happen. I never thought we would ever win an award in our life. I never thought we'd go to film festivals.
Yeah. And you put yourself out there, and that's how you win those awards. You have to leap and take the chance.
Exactly. And that, I think 2019 is when we started seeing a big difference in changing of film-wise and quality, and even just reaching different achievements, showing films outside of Canada, and people are buying more stuff in US, and then here's the thing: it's such a up and down roller coaster ride for Dead Prairies Productions. There's been times where I thought, this is it, this is the end of it. There's been times where things weren't looking great, and COVID happened. That was a big one. We couldn't really do much, and I was starting to wonder, we're losing traction now. We were going really well with Vile Spirit in 2019, and we're losing traction now. And how can I keep people interested in Dead Prairies Productions if there's nothing really going on?
Yeah.
So I was I started showing behind the scenes photos. I started trying to video call people that are past movies just to do interviews, just to keep people kind of saying, hey, we're still around.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we're still alive.
Yeah. And so we did that just to keep it going. And I'd say the Killer Balloon is what made us even bigger. It pushed us to different levels, and that's when we did a film festival in Saskatoon even, and that was in person. We were on stage for a Q&A.
Oh wow, the panel.
Yeah, nice. It was wild to have movies that were by Jordan Peele, Robert Englund, having those guys' films there, and then us.
And you were there too. Wow, that's got to feel okay, I've made it.
Oh, it's cool because I think of these things that I want to do a comic expo, and then we started doing Gas City Entertainment Expo in Medicine Hat. Be cool to do film festivals. We did that, and I was it's cool that we can still achieve goals, and it still seems impossible, but at the same time I was impressed how much we've changed over the years. From Zombiegeddon 1, you got this very, very low budget, quality, little small camera to now a big shoulder camera.
Yeah.
So,
So you spent a little bit of time in LA. I think I saw on your Facebook page. You have people in the industry that you would consider friends or at least acquaintances now. When I say the industry, not Swift,
the Hollywood
not Canada, but
the Hollywood corporate machine.
Yeah, that.
I don't know about that. I don't think they'd accept us yet. I would say I have a pretty cool following with the horror community in the very low budget independent style. Like I met some really fun people. I became friends with these people I never would have thought of being friends with if I weren't doing these films. Like,
yeah,
and they're cool. Like they're so neat to have that creative mindset that they knew what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the Killer Balloon movie is the one that really, you said, kind of made it for you. You got your awards. What do you think it was about that movie in particular that, I guess, pushed you beyond where you thought you could go? What was different about that one?
I'd say because we had like a whole year of advertising that kind of helped us too. Because we were kind of like nothing was going on, so I was like, okay, let's do some fun advertisements for this movie. I had a part where Looney the Killer Balloon was kidnapped by somebody, and then he had hostage notes and hostage videos and just stuff like that, signing contracts with Looney the Balloon and just ridiculous things. And the music, like we have Saskatchewan artists in our movies now.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's so cool. I think the music in Killer Balloon was fantastic. It had a variety of music in there, from like hip hop to metal to rock to jazz to like kind of just like all genres basically in there.
So the music, are these like friends you know who are musicians or kind of smaller artists that you got to come, help with the movie? How did the music work?
The music we started bringing back a few years ago, and what I usually do is go on social media and be like, hey, we're looking for a Saskatchewan artist. Send us your links to your bands. We'll give it a check out. We don't care if it's like rap or metal or country. We will listen to it all. If it fits the scene, we'll put it in.
Nice.
That's really cool. And I could get some recognition for those artists as well. So that's really cool.
And that's what I like too, is that we're helping each other out. I'd say like we're trying to get them exposure, and they're helping us out with their music. And it's just like cool how we're all like independent. We're all trying to help each other out just for a good cause.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And the cause is even more so of an attraction for, I don't know if the artist who sent us say, yeah, let's do this because, our music can be attributed to helping the SPCA or whomever, the theater or so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I tell them that too. I was like, hey, we're not making a dime.
Yeah.
I never made money at all from these films, and it's all SPCA. So I tell them straight up, like, this is how much we've raised for SPCA over the years. It's nonprofit, and we're not making a penny from this film. So it's going right to SPCA.
If I could just ask, if you don't mind sharing, how much has that been since you started?
that was what I was going to ask.
Same question.
Yeah, same question.
We are over $30,000 raised for SPCA.
That is fabulous. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It is.
That is really great. So tell us about your posters really quick. Who does your really super awesome 80s style, 70s, 80s style movie posters?
It actually changes up every time, so I don't really
that's cool.
have we have Gorfers has been different artists for every one. The reason, if you look at the posters for Gorfers 1, we're spoofing Tremors, the first one. Gorfers 2 is based off of Ghoulies 2. I'm not sure if you guys know that production.
Yes.
I do, actually.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I wonder if people are going to get that one. I was like, so I put the Gorfers in the toilets referencing Ghoulies, and like we did a scene with the toilet even, so it was kind of funny. And then Gorfers 3, I was like, okay, what can we do that's something like that? We have to spoof a horror movie again because we can't just like do a normal poster. So I was like, you know what? Let's do Friday 13th 8. Jason Takes Manhattan, because Jason has retired and said final so many times. So I was like, let's spoof him.
So Gorfers are going to retire.
Yes, they're officially done after this. And that's another thing I made a promise to myself years ago. I was like, I'll never make more than 3 in a series. And I haven't done that yet. So
you won't get too bored with one thing or have to work on one thing for so long and get tired of it? Or why 3?
Why 3? I just find that there's not whole much I could really tell. Like even Zomageddon 1, 2, and 3, I found myself a bit at the very end kind of just pushing it. It still was a fun film, but I was like, what else can I really do with these people and characters and zombies that it's different from the first 2?
Yeah.
So creatively, if you feel that you're hitting a wall, then it's time to move on, right?
Exactly. And that's like, I'm sure I could bring these dudes back for number 4 in space or whatever. But
Gorfers in space.
We like joke Muppets about that, everyone.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
If you watch Gorfers 2, we actually had a little post-credit scene with them in space. And it was just like a black backdrop with these cutout stars and put these pop bottles over their head for astronaut stuff. And I was like, oh man, this is wild.
Cute. I would like to see that. So for our listeners, where can they find your films? How can we watch your movies?
Dead Prairies Production films are available on DVD only, and you can contact us through our pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you can go on our line store, and it's like PayHip, Dead Prairies Productions, and they're about $10 each. And if you're in Swift Current, it's free shipping, obviously. And if you're outside Swift Current, you'll have to pay a few bucks for shipping, but I try to make it the best. If you contact me, I'll try to even get you better sales and savings because I don't want people getting gouged by shipping.
Yeah, that's nice of you.
You ever think about releasing online to behind some paywall or something like that?
I did online streaming actually for like the first 2 years once, like a couple years back. The first year did awesome. It had a lot of people downloading and watching, and then the next year it kind of tapered off. And then people are demanding DVDs back. And I was like, oh, I guess we're going back to physical media. And I like having my personal self. I actually like having physical media.
Yeah, fair. Well, and that's kind of, I mean, we talk about your posters and the type of movies and that kind of thing. That's the feel anyway, right? DVDs are just part of the whole experience.
Exactly. Like there's something about having it in your hands different than just like pushing play.
Yeah. Like the good old days of going to the video store and just wandering around and looking at the covers and, reading the back and trying to figure out what you want. And that's all gone now. That's sad.
I love that experience. That's something I will always appreciate is going to movie stores with my parents because my parents were a huge part of my life for horror movies and that. And we'd go every weekend, go to like Boomers or Creative Video or Movie Gallery. And we just look down these aisles for probably hours and looking at these covers flipping them over and reading the whole back and saying, oh, so-and-so's in it. That should be good. Or, oh, Full Moon Pictures has made this film, so I definitely have to check it out.
Yeah. Or, hey, this is one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of do that now. I've picked up a record player just last year just to go to a record store and get that experience because, Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you're into, it's just not the same. Like, I listen to music and podcasts while I work, but to sit down and hold the record, read the jacket and so on and so forth. And there are a couple of small record stores around here. I got to go to the big cities to really experience it, but it is good. It's fun.
I think
different.
The pendulum, and the pendulum I think is swinging with the younger generation now that they're wanting physical media. Like my son is that way. I mean, he still uses.
He's a musician. Like he's kind of in that as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'll even get cassette tapes from musicians that on Bandcamp and things like that, and physically making CDs and hand making the little covers and all of that. I think it's starting to make a comeback. So it's really cool that you put your movies out on DVDs.
Yeah.
It would be so cool if we could have them on VHS. That would be like the ultimate. If we could all have a VHS again.
I thought about it. I was like, I wonder if there's a way I can make these VHS movies. I've seen a few movies that are put on VHS now, and I was like, that'd be kind of fun. Just like, not all of them, obviously, because that'd probably be quite a bit of different movies. But maybe even my like top 5 best sellers could put them on VHS for a limited run or something.
That would be really cool.
Great idea.
I wonder how many people actually still have like a VHS player.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love it. Maybe some of the movies that you started younger, right? Do you still watch it on VHS?
I do have my homemade videos on VHS. I transferred it over to DVDs years ago. I haven't touched them really. I just can't bring myself to watching those yet for different reasons. And I still watch like movies that I made with like Bob Taylor on YouTube. I still watch films I made with my high school friends, and like they're fun to watch because like there was $0 and we had some pretty creative ideas for that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So this has been a lifelong passion of yours.
Oh, 100%. And like the thing is, I think this is a question that you guys asked, but we kind of were backtracking. But like, would you want to do this as a full-time gig? And I don't want money from it. I actually don't want money from filmmaking. I don't want movie, because I feel like if I do, I'm going to lose passion for that. And I don't want to hate filmmaking. I don't want to hate horror movies, because that's like 2 of the biggest things in my life. And I don't want money for it, because I find it fun not having money involved with filmmaking. And I have nothing against people actually getting money for filmmaking, because that's their job, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But this is something that I'm just having fun with my friends that I've met. I met some great people through filmmaking that I never would have done if I didn't do it. So yeah, I don't think I'd take money for it ever.
That's awesome. That way it always stays like a passion project. It'll never feel like work. Yeah. And I think, like my son was going to major in music in college, but he's changed his mind because he was so afraid that if he did, he would start to hate making music. And he was like, I never, ever want to feel that way. So
I've heard that so many times from creative people, because the creativity, when it becomes work, it's just not as fun. I've heard that so many times.
Oh, 100%. Like it's like I do the weddings and music videos and all that, and even then I don't really make much money from them at all. And sometimes I just do it as a trade-off with a friend or whatever. But yeah, for movie wise, I don't think I'd ever take money. Say if I do happen to make a film and I get paid for this film, I'm honestly going to put that money towards SPCA or right to Devon Productions and make more cheesy films about killer gnomes or snowman. So it's up to you.
Gnomes. I love gnomes. That would be fun.
Keep feeding my cheesy ideas, or
yeah. Or you could still be nonprofit and use some profits to, like you said, funnel back into the company to make more movies. So that's a good idea. Yeah.
If I get a couple $1,000, I'm still going to put that towards to, like I said, killer gnomes or snowmen or killer bees. I don't know. I'm down for anything. Cheesier the better.
So what are your biggest influences? Or let me ask this. What is your favorite horror movie of all time? Like, can you name just one? That's probably like somebody asking me my favorite book.
It's such a hard question. I get asked a lot about that one. I'll give you 3 because I can't pick just one. And I'm sure I'll say different answers every time I talk to somebody.
I get that.
Number 1 would be 100% Child's Play 2.
Child's Play 2.
I think that's one movie I keep on saying no matter what. Child's Play 2 is so perfect to me because the music is great. I liked how that Chucky finally has like more personality. It has like a horror comedy element to it, and has the best end scenes ever. Like the factory scene with all those toys, and the look of it is so cool. And how Chucky dies in it, there's no way matching that one.
That's awesome. It's been, oh my God. I probably haven't seen that since the 80s. I love those movies though.
It's weird because like I'm sure people will say Child's Play 1 is their favorite or whatever, but I like number 2 way more for just different reasons. It had the perfect blend of comedy and horror to it. And
maybe the director kind of got into their groove with that one, you know?
I think they found the right mixture. And that's like for us too, because like I find that we need a bit of comedy in it because we're so low budget and we need that little bit of comedy. Because if we're too serious, for $200, you can't take us too serious for that, right?
Right. So besides Child's Play 2, what are some other favorite horror movies of yours?
I would say like a more modern horror movie would be The Descent, with the girls going in the caves and they like discover the monsters, and that's from Neil Marshall. And I loved that. I went and seen that in theaters in Calgary, and it blew my mind because I was like, I felt actual goosebumps from some scenes because you got claustrophobia in there. You got this, you don't know what's in the cave with these girls. I loved how they actually didn't show the girls the monster until the first scene. So they are legit scared.
Right.
And that was very rare to do in horror movies nowadays, especially. So that one stands out to me for like modern horror movie. It had I don't know, it's just so perfect. The ending could have been a little bit different, but everything about it was like the twist, even like the twist in it was, is there actual monsters or is it all in her brain? Kind of thing, right? I was like, oh, it's until you think, you go home, you're like, was it like, or is she just hallucinating all this, or is it actual monsters in there? So they didn't make a sequel for years after. So I was like, I don't know if it was actual real events happening in there. And another one I'd say is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original with Robert Englund. Yeah. It's such a good film, and Freddy Krueger will always be like one of my favorite horror villains. Huge influence, and one of the coolest, nicest person you could ever meet in person too, Robert Englund. So I think that's a big thing. Oh yeah. Super cool, dude.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is cool.
And he loves his fans. I think that's what makes it even more better.
Like
he
a really
appreciates
nice
his fans.
down to earth type guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
as
awesome.
big as those movies were, you know, he's still in touch with fans because, you know, it's artificial sometimes, right? Your fans are they're what make you, but I just wonder how truly in touch some of the big stars are.
That's why I love going to horror cons and that, because most of those guys, you could tell they're very passionate about the role that they did, and they're very happy seeing a line of people, and they actually take time to talk to them more than 2 seconds or 10 seconds. Like, hey, how's it going? Get out of my line kind of thing. It's more like, let's start a conversation, and they're actually like listening. And some of the horror actors I met came around the table, stood up, and talked to me face to face for like 10 to 20 minutes, a normal conversation. And they waited till we're done.
That's really cool.
Cool. Well, very, very enlightening today talking with you, Devon. As a writer, it's nice to hear something beyond pages. And, you know, when I reached out to you and you agreed to come on the show, I was racking my brain trying to figure out how can the conversation go. And I think the beauty of this, and you made a point a little earlier about relationships and those kinds of things, by meeting people doing what you do. You know, Heather and I are from 2 different countries doing the same thing. And now you and I are living close by, but I mean, we're going to promote your work, and your presence here is going to promote our little podcast. So yeah, when I invited you, I was thinking, how can this show go and what can we talk about? And here we are an hour later.
Yeah, and still probably so much we could talk about. Like
so much to talk about.
Yeah, and it's
we
it's
could
really
go
cool.
another hour.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back, Devon.
Oh, for sure. I'm down for coming back, and I'm sure I'll have more news about the film and
Dead
Prairies
Prairies
Productions and all that.
Yeah. It's cool because, well, to talk to you because, like, Keith and I, as writers, we write, we publish it and send it out into the world, and then we're sort of done with that. But, like, when you're a filmmaker, the writing part, you're just getting started. You still have this huge mountain you still have to climb to get your movie done. So I really admire filmmakers because you have such a huge job. It's not just writing. You do it all.
Especially when you're not just a producer, from writing to filming to producing, like that is.
Yeah, you wear all the hats. Yeah.
The editing too, that takes like the longest sometimes.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like that with editing my own stories, and I mean, you could be there forever, you know?
We've talked about that where we're obsessive editors.
Mm-hmm.
Even just while you're writing, we spend so much time doing it, let alone going back like yourself, ready to produce it. You got to edit and edit and edit and edit.
Your own worst critic, right? Like there's sometimes my friends like, hey, let it be.
It's
if
good.
you polish it too much, it's going to look bad.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
So we're all in the same boat, right? I mean, whether you're writing for a film or writing a short story or a poem, you're your own worst critic. I like that. I don't like it, but I like how you.
I love how you put that.
Yeah.
Oh,
because we are.
So true.
We are. Yeah.
Because you'd watch, even if you go back to your earlier work, you're like, why did I do that? Or like, why did I film it that way? Or why did I write it that way? Or like,
yep.
Great. I can't really go back and remake it, can I? Or remaster it?
Can I go to all these people's houses who have my book and get them back?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, guys, I've enjoyed today very much. I appreciate your guys' time and talk offline here. Maybe we'll book another time to get you back once Gorfers gets the market here and talk a little bit about the success. Gorfers.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for some Gorfers merch. Do you have Gorfers? Like I saw your Dead Prairies, like
we should,
hoodies and shirts. Those are really cool, by the way. Have to grab one of those.
Yeah, like the
Dead Prairies
logo is kind of like our mascot, and that's why Gorfers and everything. That's why it's popular because like he's kind of like our logo, so he's our mascot.
Yeah, how fun! So we can hope for some Gorfers merch. Yeah. Cute horror. I love it.
Cute horror.
Cute horror, yeah. All right. Thanks again, guys. I will end it for now, and we shall talk later.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks, Devon.
Thank you, Devon. Follow Devon and Dead Prairies Productions on social media for the latest news, merchandise, and movie releases. You can find the link in the description. And join us next week when we welcome author and editor Matthew Salinas to the show. He shares how one of his earliest stories about a post-it notes revolution against humans, a story written for his wife, started his journey into microfiction. Also, he talks about the lure of the horror genre and how his grandmother is a huge influence in his writing. All that and more next time on the Brewing Fiction Podcast. Stop by the podcast homepage for links to today's guest and to see what else is brewing on the Brewing Fiction Podcast. You can find the links in the description. And don't forget to click the subscribe button to be notified whenever a new episode is released.